Hello, and welcome again to Thursday Thoughts. Today's edition, the dreaded question, how many children do you have? That is one of the hardest questions to answer when you've lost a child. How many children do you have? In theory, this should be a simple question, but for a parent who has lost a child, it is not an easy one to answer. The person asking the question, unknowingly opens Pandora's box. Now, how I answer the question, it depends on my relationship with the other person. Have they earned the right? Do they have my trust to see me possibly at one of my worst moments? Will they judge me if I turn away or if I tear up? Other factors include the social setting in which the question is asked and my nanosecond judgment to determine if this is the right place and time to share. It also depends on how I'm mentally feeling and emotionally. Am I prepared to accept their responses? We don't know how they will respond when we start talking about our children in heaven. It's a simple question though, and it's something that I will deal from now on for the rest of my life. Now, one of the answers that I give, if I'm feeling really positive and upbeat and able to accept how they respond, is to say, I have 2 children in heaven and 2 living on earth. But then I watch for their reactions. And sometimes their face just tells everything. And they may say, oh my, I'm so sorry. Or their expression changes and they get sorrowful and that their tears in their eyes. I watch them for that. They say, I can't imagine. That must be horrible. Well, yes, it is. My response is, yes, it is horrible and it stinks. Sometimes they are curious and ask more questions. They want to learn more. And sometimes I'm able to answer those questions, but I don't offer details on the way they pass. Courtney died in a daycare accident and Connor took his life. No matter how I share this information, they are shocked and go into their own thoughts and I can see it and they share that's like, oh God, I have kids. I can't see this. I can't imagine this. And so I really need to be mindful of how they're going to respond. Another way to respond is just to simply say, I have 4 children. And then if they continue to ask more questions, I decide whether I just say their ages or whether I include that I have 2 in heaven or if I have 2 living. It so much depends on my relationship with that other person. Then if I share that I have 2 in heaven again, then I'm back to really evaluating what their response is and where this conversation is going. So many times we get people that are just ready to shut down the conversation, change the subject, and move on because they just don't know how to respond. Now, once this conflict of, I encourage us to talk about our children, but this conflict in between really talking about children and not talking about our children. But the thing is, that's up to you. You get to decide how you want to share and when you share. There is no right way. There is no wrong way. So I talk about my kids in heaven because I believe in heaven. You may or may not believe in heaven, but my higher power is my God. And it is important for me to understand that there is a day, there is a time when I will see my children again. I will see my parents again. I will see my sister again. And so that is so critically important that I know that they are in heaven and that they are in a place of beauty, that I too can look forward to seeing them again and joining them in this wonderful place. Now, as I mentioned, the natural flow of the conversation gets disrupted when somebody newly finds out that we have children who have passed before us. And they get stumbling over their own words, their conversations. They may say the wrong thing, or they may just clam up and not say anything. So what I've done is I've put together a list of 21 things to not to say, and do for grieving parents. If you are interested in receiving a copy, just go ahead and email me. It's at the end of this video and it's in the comments, but it's peggy.griefrecovery@gmail.com. And you can use this yourself, and you can also share it with others who are in the grief process, or with those who don't know how to help somebody who's grieving. Again, it's peggy.griefrecovery@gmail.com.